with Bull City Pictures. Today we're looking at the Fujifilm X-T20. It's the little brother to the Fujifilm X-T2, which was released a little while ago. It's got that same 24 megapixel sensor. It shoots 4K video, 8 frames per second. It's got a 325 autofocus point system. 169 of those are phase detect. It's got 15 film simulations, and it's just a really solid stills camera, a very solid video camera. We'll compare this with the X-T2 and the X-T10. You can see here the X-T10. There are a few differences. The X-T10 was a 16 megapixel sensor. It did not shoot 4K video. The bodies look very similar, as you can see. They're almost indistinguishable. There's one button that was removed on the back, and one button that was added in the front. Used to be the video record button, which is now a function button. You can program almost all of these buttons with the exception of the Q button, so it's very programmable. You can scroll through the different features for each of these programmable buttons. We're going to show you some video. The video actually that you're seeing me in is filmed with this X-T20. I'm going to take you to the computer as well and show you some pictures. We'll go through a few more of the specs, but we're going to bring you over to the computer, show you some pictures that were taken with this, and come back with my thoughts, my conclusions, the pros and the cons. I want to just compare it a little bit to the X-T2. The X-T1 you'll see here. I don't have an X-T2, but they're very similar again. The biggest difference between these two is that you have more of the dials and knobs on the top, as you can see here, with the X-T1 and the X-T2. The X-T20 doesn't have the dials and knobs. It also doesn't do, it does video a little bit differently. It actually does a full sensor readout, but it subsamples instead of super samples, which means there's no crop in the video, but you also don't get that full sensor readout like the X-T2. The X-T2 gives you a full sensor, I'm sorry, not a full sensor readout, but it does super sampling, but there is a crop. So with the X-T2, there's no crop applied when you're shooting 4K video, which is nice. The JPEGs that come out of this are just incredible, as always. Fuji does a really good job with JPEGs. It does a great job with skin tones as well. I'll take you over to the computer. I'll show you these pictures, and then we'll come back with a few more of the specs, my opinion, and we'll draw a conclusion, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, I'm going to show you some of the pictures that I took with this camera. This is the X-T20 with the kit lens, which is 18 to 55, f2.8 to f4, and the zoom shots will be with the 55 to 200, f3.5 to 4.8. I'm going to show you these JPEGs, straight out of the camera JPEGs, and just to show you a couple features of the camera. Here's one of my daughter that I took purposely with a slow shutter speed. You can see this is at 1/13th of a second, ISO 200, just to show you that you can handhold and still get decently sharp shots. I missed a little bit of focus on this one, but it was shot at f2.8, so the depth of field is pretty thin, but you can see that by and large it's a pretty sharp shot. Also went down to American Tobacco, really cool place in my town, to do some shots, and took a couple of these shots. This kind of shows the color rendition. These are JPEGs right out of the camera. They have not been touched at all, just basically importing them into this application to show you. So you can see the colors here are really nice, and I really like what Fuji does with the skin tones. Again, this skin has not been enhanced. There have been no, this is straight out of the camera. And I'm going to zoom in here to 200%. So you can see even at 200%, still plenty of detail there. Yeah, I mean at 200% it doesn't look tack sharp, obviously no camera would. We take this back to 100%, even at 100% you can see the detail, and just again love what it does with the skin. I'll show you one more of my other daughter, just again to accentuate the skin tones and the colors. There's something about the Fuji JPEGs. In fact, a lot of the times I don't even need to edit these. I do shoot RAW and JPEG, but a lot of times I don't even really need to do anything with them out of the camera. So again, you can see the skin tones here. I just really like what Fuji does. I'm not sure exactly what they do with the tones, but here's that shot at 200%. And then we'll show you one more. This is from the North Carolina Zoo. Got some lions and lionesses there. And again, these are all JPEGs straight out of the camera. No manipulation whatsoever. and I'll show you the detail here. So you can see again the colors, the shadows look pretty good, highlights look good. The detail is pretty darn good, pretty amazing. This was shot with the 55-200, which is not necessarily their sharpest lens, but again, you can see the detail at 200%. Still looks really sharp even at 200% on this one. So those are some of the pictures. The video that you're seeing, or that you have seen already and going to see, is actually shot on the Fuji X-T20. So all the video where I am talking about the X-T20 is all shot with this camera, so you can see how the video works in the Fuji X-T20. It shoots 4K. It does some line skipping, but you be the judge. Does the video look good or not? Let me know in the comments. So those were the pictures. They are, again, this is a really incredible stills camera. I use this camera when I go out shooting for Bowl City Pictures. I've got this and the X-T1 in my bag, and I use this 18-55, which is the lens I'm shooting with now, on the X-T20, and I put the 10-24 millimeter, the wide angle, to do architectural on the X-T1. Between those two cameras, I've pretty much got everything that I need in order to do shooting on the streets of beautiful Durham, North Carolina. The biggest differences between this and the X-T2, there's no log profile. So if you're shooting video and you're a serious video shooter, the X-T2 might be a better choice for you. This does not have log, but again, it does have the profiles that you can apply both to stills and to video. The X-T2 does allow a battery grip, and you can actually get more than the 4K time limit on this camera is 10 minutes. I'm assuming that's because of overheating. So with the X-T20, or sorry, the X-T2 and the battery grip, you can get up to 30 minutes of 4K recording. So again, for serious video shooters, the X-T20 might not be for you. But if you're looking for a great stills camera and a really capable video camera that does 4K, the X-T20 might just be for you. The pros, 4K video, first for Fuji, that autofocusing system is really great. It's online or on par with the Canon system. We'll just show you really quickly how the autofocus works here. And the dual pixel AF, in my opinion, that Canon has is the best for video. This is really, really close to it. There's still a few little minor tweaks that probably need to be made by Fuji. It's very light, it's very small, it's fun to shoot with. The cons, it's got a 2.5 millimeter mic jack. It does have a mic jack, but that mic jack is 2.5 millimeters. And if you want to attach a normal microphone to that, they have 3.5 millimeter jacks. So you'll have to get an attachment like you can see here. They're clumsy, they break, they'll get caught on things. It's just not really a great solution for audio, but it does have a mic input, at least 2.5 millimeters, so you have to use that. There's a strange Wi-Fi error that when I actually connect and transfer to Wi-Fi from my phone or to my phone, the camera locks up, and the only way that I can get the camera to come back is to actually turn the camera off. They did change the menus in this one and other cons. I'm not really crazy about their new menu system. It seems to be just difficult to understand. They don't really group things in a way that's logical. I like the old menu systems a little bit better. But by and large, if you're looking for a great camera to do stills and a really good, capable 4K video camera, traveling and just where you want to travel very lightly, this certainly is a great camera. Another camera you might consider is the Panasonic G85, which is a camera that I use to do my videos normally. Great stills camera. It's a micro four thirds camera. Smaller sensor, won't be as good in low light. Not as good for pictures, but definitely, I think, probably better for video. If you like what you saw, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, please click on that little bell icon. That will allow you to get alerts whenever we upload a video, so you'll be the first to know whenever a video hits. Phil with Bowl City Pictures with this review of the X-T20. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video.